July. Uh, and of course, GMAT or GRE score, you should be able to apply. We have opened our application portal starting today, and the first deadline is supposed to be third week of December, which is 20th of December. We are looking at educational qualification. We are looking at GMAT, GRE, or a CAT test. That shall I apply? I think I should ask this question back to you. That do you think 97 percentile and your other attributes can sail you through one of the best B schools globally? If the answer for you is yes, I will encourage you to apply. So it's not only the CAT or a GMAT or a GRE, it's your overall profile that we are looking at. Any proven work experience, and it's a cost of repetition, more than 24 months at the time of application. And if you're going to continue working, would be counted and you would be termed as ineligible. So students who are fresh graduates, students who have just started, or students who are aspiring to become great leaders, we encourage all of you to apply. In case your medium of instruction or education was not English, you would have to give us a proof of TOEFL or IELTS, but that's something we can discuss once you have made an application. So we are open to questions, sir, and I would suggest to you that if you're planning to make an application, you want to discuss your profile with us, you're most welcome to either visit us or book an online slot. We are available for one-on-one counseling also. That is, me and my team would be there to help you out. One thing we can't guarantee you is the admission. One thing we can assure you is we will be giving you the right advice, right? And again, I would repeat that, is it open for everybody? Yes, it's open for everybody. Have confidence in yourself. If you have that confidence, I'm sure ISB will show more confidence in you. So with that, we are open to question and answers.
So,
I think Baljeet would coordinate
Pritesh,
that,
sorry, I'll
right,
intervene
sir?
over here. Just one point. Folks, Pritesh mentioned that, ISB is for everybody and everybody should consider it. I would also like to make a plug over here about something which we think about a lot, which is cost of education. Right? At ISB, one of our fundamental thoughts is that financial inability or lack of liquidity should not be the reason why somebody does not get a world-class education. To make sure that is the case, for the PGP YL, we offer a large number of scholarships. If I was to look back at the class which joined in 2025, I would say about 30 to 40% of the class got scholarships, either full scholarships, partial scholarships, but they got scholarships. So money over here should not be a reason why you should not think about education. Needless to say, something which folks don't think about, and I understand I was in the same situation as you all a few decades ago. Uh, the financial burden is an important consideration, but we are here to help you with that. And not only help you with that, we are also able to show you what that financial burden would enable you to do over the lifetime of your career. Right, so that's just one thing that I wanted to mention over here. And again, scholarships that we have are of different types. There are need-based scholarships, there are merit-based scholarships, need come merit-based scholarships, and so on. All right, with that, over to you folks. Please ask us the questions that you have. We are happy to take questions. Please raise your hands, so that will allow us to see all of your hands, and then we can go in this order in which we'll see them. Right, so why don't we start with the questions then?
We will first, till the time the students are raising their hands, we'll take a few questions from the Q&A box. Professor Jindal,
Okay.
I believe you can answer these questions. There's a question from a candidate who is asking, like, with so much of noise on AI and it leading to job losses, how do you see MBAs fitting into the new world?
Sure. See, I think AI, yes, it is changing how we think about jobs. But I can tell you one thing, AI is taking jobs from the bottom of the pyramid. AI is taking away mundane jobs. AI is not taking away jobs of leaders. It is not taking away jobs of critical thinkers. I don't think of AI as a substitute for human capital, for labor. I see it as a complementary skill which will allow all of us to do better. Having said that, if we are not able to utilize this, if we cannot achieve our objectives using AI, then yes, we will become extinct. But that is not the case for everybody. Business school education, the way we think about it, if you think about business school education 15, 20 years ago, will that become extinct? Yes, that will become extinct. But the skills that a business school teaches you, those skills are going to be relevant, those skills are going to be important. And I don't think anybody would argue or would say that the skills learned in a business school are useless, right? So to summarize, I would say AI is important. It is changing how we work, but it is an opportunity as opposed to a threat.
We have a lot of questions around the work experience. Either Pritesh, you can draw, you can put little bit more stress on the same qualify. Is it post the graduation or pre-graduation? What are we accepting and how we are accepting? Let's talk about more that.
2 or 3 lines very clear. Post your graduation, full-time work experience of less than 2 years is what we are looking for. So if you have done an internship, if you are pursuing your PhD, for example, you are a graduate trainee, you are doing your any of these things, that is not counted as a full-time work experience. At the same time, we have also seen from our experience, a lot of you would hide your work experience. Please do not do that, because that would be caught in your background verification. So be honest. If it is more than 2 years, we have PGP as a program. We have, if it is less than 2 years, we have YL as a program, because the programs are defined to suit some of the students. So in case there is further doubt, you can always write to us. We try our level best to, because it's very personal ones that, and if we start answering every personal one, maybe we'll be here till midnight. But I think 2 years work experience, and if there is still a doubt, no part time is considered. I also would like to answer here about students with gap year post their graduation. So another unique thing amongst many ISB offer is process is to look at your achievements and not your disachievements. So if you have a gap here, going to be asking time you have spent and how have you spent, right? So if you are a 2024 graduate or a 2023 graduate, unfortunately less than experience, are you qualified? Yes, you are qualified.
See, again, I will add to that, right? Think about gap year to that you want to do, which will propel your career, right? And that something is prepare for exams, that something is prepare for something to achieve, right? I don't understand why that should be held against an individual, right? So, from our perspective, a gap year does not matter, right? I mean, you could be studying, for example, IAS. That is perfectly fine. Still, during interview, things from it and so on. But those are questions which you should be able to answer, and you should be able to share your learnings with us, right? If anything, that puts you in a stronger position, because it's some learning, bring an additional dimension with work experience.
Thank There are few questions also around the test scores. You know that students want to know that whether GMAT is better or CAT is better or GRE is better. If you can light on that, and plus There is Parinita who has asked a question that which to be center-based test scores for GMAT and GRE and CAT is any which was not online, but GMAT and GRE it should be test center-based test scores only. So Pritesh, if you can add upon which one is better and how can they apply with
Yeah,
any of the scores.
test aptitude test neutral. So any score that you come up with, you're most welcome. One of the many pointers we look at in your application, and this gives us an idea about your preparedness to enter the program. I would also take it up because there are some questions on what is a good score or a bad score. Again, this is purely your profile, right? We have seen 99 percentile or CAT getting rejected, and we have seen 97 percentile getting an offer. But it is purely your profile, your performance, which includes your academics, which includes your extracurriculars, which includes your, I would say, some kind of work experience, the cognitive skills that you show, your essays, a lot of time your recommender. So if you have applied before or you are getting mentored, I would just tell you that from this year in application we have academic recommendation also. So if your faculty or your professor or your principal or your dean is giving you the recommendation, please let them select that particular portion because the questions would be in a different context when it comes to the academic recommendation.
Thank you. Thank you, Pritesh, for the same. Professor Jindal, if you can please about how can students, complement their application. For example, if somebody is coming from a social impact sector or if they're coming from the forestry background, what apart from the education or projects or the work experience, what else should they take up to, develop or, make them more eligible from the application point of view
Sure.
at ISB?
So let me put it this way, right? I think it is a failure of our education system where we feel that somebody who's coming from a diverse background needs to do something to complement their application, right? The way I think about it is if you're coming from a very different sector where you've acquired a very different type of education, I would say that puts you in good stead because you bring a certain type of diversity which the average candidate does not. So if you think about complementing that skill, I would say the answer is not any different than what an engineer, for example, or somebody who has a bachelor's degree in commerce would do. All we are looking for is the application as a whole, which is your ability to think out of the box, your ability to work with others, your ability to succeed in real life business situations. None of these have anything to do with engineering or medicine or commerce or arts and so on and so forth. Those are different streams of education. Yes, they're important. We want to see how well you have done in your chosen stream of education, whether you have excelled or not. We will take that into account. But nobody gets penalized or nobody should feel that they need to improve their profile just because they do not have education in a field which 70% of the students have.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor, for the same. Tish, there are few questions around what kind of experience do you accept? So there are students who say that they are working in their own startups or they are working in the family business. Will that be counted as a work experience as well?
If it is a full-time involvement, yes, it will be counted. Uh, so I would repeat, it's not that we are penalizing you because you have a work experience, right? But the program is designed for young aspiring professionals. We have a program, if you really have a full-time minimum 2 years of work experience, you should apply for PGP, right? Each program is designed at ISB for a particular set of students, right? So if you come with a 15 years of experience, let's have a chat. Maybe I would tell you to apply for PGP Max or a Pro, for example, right? So it's not getting into an institution, it is getting into the right program in a good institution. And that is what you need to think of. So if you have having a full-time work experience post your graduation in your family business, in your startup, right? I would suggest to you, let's have a chat. Maybe we can counsel you for a better program also. So our job does not end just to tell you that you are a select or a reject. Our job is to give you the right counseling. Remember that.
So I'll just chime in over here, right? What Pritesh said is very important because the way I think about applicants at ISB, our objective is not to say how can we just get applicants in the program, or to say that okay, we you apply and then we just want all the applications. I think as an institution, our job is to make sure you folks make better choices. And what does that mean that you make better choices? We will work with you to understand what you want to achieve out of the program, what you have done so far. And if this is the right program, then we would encourage you to apply. We will answer all of your questions. But if this is not the right program, we will also help you figure out what that right program could be. That may be ISB, that may not be ISB. Our job over here is not to sell you ISB programs. Our job over here is to make sure you folks enroll in a program which will help you achieve the best outcomes for yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Pritesh, and thank you, Professor. This was quite insightful. I'm sure students will take note of this. There are a few hands which are raised. We'll allow Naman, if you can please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Naman, you're muted now.
Good evening, sir. Sir, am I
Maybe
audible?
he's not. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, I graduated in 2021. After that, I was preparing for civil services, but alongside that, I was working part-time and I did some freelancing work. So my question is, I'm 27 right now. So will my age become a factor during selection, or should I say, would I be considered too old to be a young leader because the average age that you showed in the slides was 23, I believe.
Can I take that up, sir? I
Yes,
would
please. Go ahead,
say
Pritesh.
age does not matter at the end of the day. You are actually trying to tell me that I've become old, huh, Naman? No, I have
No, sir,
not
no, sir.
become old. Right? No, but just to answer your question squarely, no, Naman. The average does not mean everybody is 23. Average means there were students with 26, 27. Average means there were students with 22 also, right? So, and we come across a lot of such profiles who have been preparing for IAS, who have been preparing for CAT for a couple of years, trying to get into one of the best institution. So I don't think so that should be the worry. I would rather suggest you should worry about that you have spent 5 years in IAS. I'm sure you would have learned a lot of things. Make this your asset and showcase in your application and in your interview that you know the Indian geography well, you know the statistics well, and that is your advantage, right?
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you, Naman. Ayush Mehra, if you can please unmute yourself. Naman, I would request you to please lower your hand and please mute yourself as well.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, please.
Yes.
A very good evening to all of you. I am literally 9 minutes away from the Hyderabad campus. So, as someone who is really aspiring to walk through those gates, I'll just I'll just paint a picture very quickly. I graduated in 2022. Since then, I have done my CA and I'm currently preparing for CFA L3. My question is, for the CA industrial training, I was working at UBS. The question being, does that experience count towards quote unquote work experience, or would only my post qualification work experience count?
I think it's your post CA that should count because CA articleship is what you spoke about, right?
Yeah, industrial training. Correct.
Yeah, we generally don't count that, but however, I would suggest to you, Ayush, you are 9 minutes away from campus. Book a campus tour tomorrow. We can have a chat. Every Fridays at Hyderabad campus, we have a campus tour. So let's make use of your 9 minutes advantage. Come over, let's have a chat. Let me understand your experience in detail and let me give you the right advice accordingly.
Sure, I'll get on it right now. Thank you so
Um,
much.
Thank you very much.
Ayush, just to add upon it, we only accept the work experience which is post your qualification. That could be a CA or that could be undergraduation degree, because the articleship is part of a CA program. It's not over and above your CA program. So that is the reason we do not accept articleship. Similar is for the MBBS program as well. We do not accept the internships.
Okay, understood. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Uh, Bharat Kumar, if you can please unmute yourself.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Yes, we can hear you, Bharat. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I am a forestry background student. I want to build a career in ES and sustainability consulting. What specific experience or internship that skill would you recommend I acquire before joining PGP YL, maximize my admission chances and placements? Outcomes.
Sir, you want to take this?
Yeah, so Bharat, I couldn't get the question completely, but if I understand it correctly, different background, you're interested in